I have to talk about The Good Fight, Episode 2, Season 2. This show is so good. It's so good. And episode 2 is called Day 415. But I have to tell you, in my head, episode 2 is called Turtleneck and Slay. Because we see some epic turtlenecks being rocked throughout the show. I don't know if that was a little Easter egg getting thrown our way by the costume designer, because there are lots of allusions to violence against attorneys, and we have 3 attorneys rocking the turtleneck. DIANE Lockhart's rocking the turtleneck, LUCCA Quinn is rocking the turtleneck, and Maya RINDELL is rocking the turtleneck, okay? And these women are showing us that perhaps you too should go to be an attorney so that you can slay in the courtroom. I'm not gonna lie, I think, Maya's sartorial choices don't quite catch my eye the way that Lucca's do. Maya was wearing this kind of silk chiffon 90s turtleneck, giving me some realness from the 90s. And Lucca's turtleneck was she wearing like a black lace turtleneck or something, some such similar to that? It doesn't even matter, does it? Stop and talk about the fact that Kush Jumbo is pregnant in real life. This woman is from London, and she acts the hell out of an American woman because you cannot tell she is British. But yes, she is pregnant, and so she's wearing lots of clothes that look very bulky. It's because they're hiding a little baby under there. She was rocking this kind of red, vintage looking blazer, and you could see how white it was, or I could tell because she's tiny when she's not pregnant. And then we saw Diane. Diane was really killing this turtleneck, actually, because her turtleneck was this black on black. It was like a black and white on a black and white. So she had this like speckled black and white jacket, and then her turtleneck were these large black polka dots kind of thing. But everything looks like it was at least $1,000. I've been watching Project Runway, and all of the judges would say, love it, stylish, fashion forward, modern, cool, hip, urbane, professional, from the courtroom to the ballroom, whatever. So they're killing it with the style decisions. Let's talk about what's happening in the episode now that I've gotten to like ooh and ah over the choices of the clothing. So we have a few storylines running concurrently. Let's start off at the top with Maya and her storyline. So first of all, let's talk about how craven her father is. Her father is craven. He ain't shit. And like most ain't shit people, he's going to pay for being ain't shit. He's actually going to let his daughter and his wife take the fall for his trifling money laundering ways. Oh, okay. No, seriously, what's wild about this man, and all through the first season I was like, no, he's really not shit, because to imagine that somebody would have a money laundering business and be stealing, creating a Ponzi scheme and stealing all this money from their friends, from their family members. Diane is his, basically his god sister. I don't know if that's a term or whatnot, but you're giving your daughter a god mom and then stealing from her? Okay. Yeah, so just from the entire first season, when he was unconcerned about the possible effects that it would have on his family and his child. This is the flesh of his flesh. He only has one child, well, as far as we know. So just then, I bet you anything that he does have another child, because that's some shit he would do. But he's gonna let his daughter and his wife take the fall for his trifling ways. Okay, so anyway, he is on the run, and that's why they are pursuing charges against Maya and her mother. And we see her mom has spent a couple of months in jail. At the very end, she seems totally just like, this isn't like Orange is the New Black. I will say she looked really good for having been in prison. Like, her hair was perfectly curled. That was the thing that was the completely unrealistic Fantasyland part of it. It doesn't matter if you're going to jail, and they release you for court, your hair is gonna look like shit. I mean, yes, we know you can get makeup in there, but a hair curler, I don't know. Maybe you can. I wouldn't know. I'll have to ask experts on that one. Maya is trying to figure out where her father is because she wants to avoid having to go to prison for her father, because she's facing potentially 8 years or something like that. And so she asks the little investigator, Marissa Gold, if she can go out and try to figure out what this woman is. And so you see Marissa doing her Marissa thing and ending up finding the woman and passing along this message. Hey, I know my dad is with my ex-tennis instructor that I really had a thing for. Every time she looks at this, half-concealed image of this woman who was going into the ATM to pull out $1 billion, which, by the way, who can pull $1 billion out of a bank? I guess that's all they do in Dubai. But every time they show this picture of her face half concealed, Maya's fantasy image of this woman, like, slowly walking toward her and, like, undressing or whatever comes up. Well, she's not undressing, but obviously this woman left an impact on her. I think her name was Elizabeth or something. So anywho, she gets Marissa to pass along this message to her father, and in the closing scenes, we see her talking on the phone with her dad. He actually calls her on the burner phone to be like, what information do you have for me, daughter? Yes, I'm trifling and I ain't shit, and I don't care that you're about to be punished and your mom's already being punished, but how can you help me? And so she was able to keep him on the phone long enough for the sting operation to succeed, and the episode closes with her dad's ain't shit ass going to jail. Don't care about him. Hope he stays in prison, stuff. And yeah, so that's her dad, 2 Billy, chilling, I think, in Italy. And Maya's crushed. I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. I think Maya's partner, Amy, said that Maya nodded and told her at one time that there was something wrong with the fund. Maya is furious. She doesn't remember that happening. So their relationship is on the rocks. I mean, Maya's kind of really had a tough year. You feel bad for her. Her entire world has kind of crashed in around her, and she's potentially facing prison time for something she didn't know anything about, which is she did not know her dad was cooking the books, and yet she was on the board for this fake-ass nonprofit organization, all this stuff. So, in any case, we get to see a little bit of justice for her trifling-ass father, and I'm excited about that, and we'll see kind of how that unfolds. We are kind of already seeing that Maya's journey is having to redefine her understanding of who she is, and reshape her life. And now with this whole Amy thing, she might break up with her. And I didn't like her little girlfriend's new haircut. I just didn't like it. It wasn't cute, I love the fashion in the show. Other choices I don't love quite so much. Let's move on to Diane. So Diane is friendly with Liz, the new Liz Reddick. So the original Reddick's daughter, who was basically just fired, but she quit working for the AUSA because she was suspended for a tweet, and she was like, fuck y'all, peace out, I'm gonna go be a name partner at Reddick, Kolstad, and Bozeman. The awkward thing is they haven't talked about whether they've taken the Kolstad out, because Barbara pieced out and she went to the AUSA, or she went to a different firm at the end of episode 1. So anywho, we see her coming in. We already see her as a shark. Right off the top, she's saying, hey, this, lawyers have been dying all over the city, and the former clients of those attorneys now need new attorneys. And she, being sharkish, what do they call it, hawkish, is like, yo, let's go scoop them clients up. And so, and actually the Trump voter is like smiling because he loves it. Adrian's like, isn't that a little bit I don't know, predatory, but she's like, nah, son, we gotta do this. She's like the gangster attorney, you know? She's like that cutthroat, let's get it done, let's not waste any time. So we see her going to try to snag up a client, and we don't see her do it successfully. And then we see the fact that she used to work at the U.S. Attorney's Office affecting her position because of the law. She cannot tell Reddick and Bozeman what is happening with the case against Maya because LUCCA is Maya's attorney. And because of the law, she cannot disclose information that she knows about that case, even though she was working on that case. She can't help them. But she does kind of help them. She tells them a few things here or there, like, yes, they have evidence, it's pretty significant, and she ends up revealing that Diane is going to be one of their secret witnesses that they will subpoena and force to be a witness. Diane goes out and has a drink with Liz, and she's basically talking about how she's feeling some type of way. She's not feeling that great about life. Seeing all these lawyers getting killed is kind of freaking her out. Remember, y'all, she started a little habit of microdosing. I don't know anything about this. I'm too old. I don't know nothing about microdosing. I actually Googled it and looked it up, but apparently it's this new thing. I mean, it's that bougie. I've never even heard of it. But essentially, there are studies being done to show that, so microdosing, the particular thing that she's doing is mushrooms, which are psychedelics. And studies are being done to show that if you do them in small quantities, which is what's called microdosing, it relieves a lot of health issues, including depression and anxiety. And we can see, looks like Diane, who is cool as a cucumber, this woman who can answer any one-liner with the calmest I see. She's experiencing some anxiety. And so she kind of reveals to Liz, I'm going through it. I believe she says something about this is the darkest hole of my life, some kind of older person's quotation that I've never heard before. And you see Liz go back and tell Adrian, oh yeah, you know, her being a hawk as she is, I think Diane's considering retiring. And he's like, of course, Adrian's shocked. What? She's like, yeah, you know, we were just chatting and she just said something about darkest hour, whatever. Anyway, don't say anything to her. I just wanted to let you know. Now, you know, game recognizes game. She's sneaky. She's a little shady. And the question to the viewer is, what's her angle? What's the MO here? How does it serve her to see Adrian get stressed out that Diane might retire? Is it she wants Diane gone so that she has more money for herself as someone who's also a named partner? I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But it kind of shows that there's not too much love between her and Diane. I don't know, maybe she thinks Diane voted for Trump. JK. The last person that we followed throughout this episode, of course, was the amazing LUCCA Quinn. I already told you guys she's pregnant. You just basically see her in court and then talking about Maya's case. She is an amazing attorney. She just gives you the look. She can raise her eyebrow and you believe her. I just think she's a fantastic actress. I will say about LUCCA and Colin, who's her ex. Remember? Last season, she was messing with him, and then somebody told her he was only dating her because she was a hot black chick, and it would help him look good for a Senate run. For anyone who knows the politics of Chicago, I mean, fuck the politics of the United States, I don't know why anyone would think, you know, yes, Mayor Bill de Blasio in real life is married to a black woman, which has never happened before, but I don't know anyone who thinks that being in an interracial relationship helps you as someone who's running for a position in a state or representing a city. Well, no, senator, a junior senator, I don't remember, but I don't know how that would help you considering the fact that there's so much segregation, so many racial, I don't know, or maybe it's a move in the Trump era, right? Like this idea that despite the fact that Trump won, there are still good white people and black people and white people get along. I can't tell y'all. But anywho, she believed that when that idiot white dude who was super embarrassing about, I think, the Wu-Tang Clan in season 1, if you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch it. He started reciting rap lyrics, which is just one of the many ways that the show like peppers in racial politics in ways that most shows completely ignore it, or they lambast it and make it look like something that black people blow out of proportion. This show constantly shows us how black attorneys and black professionals deal with issues that white people don't ever even have to think about. But in any case, this guy tells her that, and it really bothered her. She thought that maybe it was true, that she was being used, and they kind of stopped talking to each other. Now her and Colin have to keep seeing each other in court because he is on the team that's prosecuting Maya. And so they actually exchanged some words. They're on the elevator together. I'm sorry, y'all, I wasn't really feeling the heat between them. I don't see a lot of like chemistry there. I think she's way too good for him. She's so beautiful, and he's basic as fuck, and his personality sucks, and I wasn't down with it. But hey, to each his own. He has this blonde woman in court with him who I think maybe Lucca was supposed to be threatened by or something, like maybe she's his new lady, but she's his colleague. I don't really know. So we kind of see that Lucca was in court having to face off with her ex. There was a really funny scene when the judge was like, hey, you guys need to respect each other. Look at each other, say I respect you. And we are both great attorneys. The Honorable Charles Abernathy, very, very funny judge.
Your Honor, Liz Reddick chose to resign.
Before Donald Trump could fire her.
Oh, please, Lucca, will you stop playing the judge's politics?
I'm not playing anything, Colin.
Wait, stop. Were you two fighting in my court a year ago?
What?
This court?
No.
I'm not sure.
I'm not going to spend the next few days listening to you two screaming at each other. Shake hands. The world is angry enough without you two bringing it in here. Go ahead. Good. Now look each other in the eye. We're all professionals in here. In fact, let's say that. I respect you.
I respect you. We're all professionals.
Good. Now, let's live it. Now, regarding your motion, this is, in fact...
Another thing I like about this show is they show all different kinds of personalities of judges. Not that they're these like judicious, formidable, serious entities, but that they have senses of humor or that they have attitudes or whatever. So that's another really great part of the show. Last thing that they teased us with was about the next episode, which is now that her dad is in custody, they don't have to worry so much about Maya, but this man who is out on this rampage killing all these attorneys is targeting their firm, and so they have to be worried about that. It looked so good. That's exciting to come. I just love this show. I think the acting is outstanding, and for me, it shines a light on what I crave so deeply in TV that I don't get 99% of the time. Women who are strong, and strong might even be redundant, as Shonda Rhimes would say. Women who are self-possessed, they are highly intelligent, they are motivated, they have their own goals outside of relationships, and they're not a second fiddle to any man. No woman in the show is second fiddle to any man. I love seeing women of color who are amazingly talented at what they do. It's inspiring. And so I rock with the show. The fashion, if nothing else, come for the fashion. Stay for the banter in court. I'm down with the slay of the turtlenecks. That's the name of the episode. Of the good fight. Keep rocking with me. Let me know what you thought. Anything that I missed. Anything I should have talked about. But I just love the show too much. I had to start my own little opinion piece about the show. Because I can't continue to watch the show and be amazed by it and not have any outlet through which I can express the joy that I get in watching the good fight. All right, until next time.